Welcome to this introduction to the Young Vic's Taking Part film Even at Our Age, created with the community charity Blackfriars Settlement. Even at Our Age is based around a fictional game show for people of retirement age and older. There are 5 main characters in the film who are all over 60. The 3 female contestants are Alice, Flora, and Indy, and the following text pops up alongside them when they first appear on screen, beginning with Indy, I see one female, white, height 5'3", weight 100 pounds, blonde hair, brown eyes, last known address, unknown. Next is Alice, I see 3 female, black, height 5'5", weight unknown, brown hair, brown eyes, last known address, 164 Honey Drive, London. Then Flora, I see 3 female, black, 5'7", weight unknown, brown hair, brown eyes, last known address, unknown. Flora's skin tone is pale. It's the voice of the investigator that we first hear as he narrates. At other times, he interviews the 3 contestants. He's a tall white man who wears a dark suit with a pale shirt. His grey hair is short, and he has a short grey beard and wears glasses. The final character is the show's host, a white man dressed in a smart casual style in dark trousers, a soft green wool jacket, white shirt worn open at the collar, with a cravat at the neck. His sandy grey hair is short, and he has a neat beard with a full moustache that curls up at the ends, and he wears glasses with dark frames. The film takes place in and around an unnamed brick building, a bit like a TV studio, as the camera follows the host and others along its windowless corridors, or in the host's dressing room. Interviews with the character known as the investigator take place in an office, where light spills in through opaque windows, and contestants sit on a sofa facing us, whilst the investigator sits with his back to us so that we're unable to see his face. Later, we visit a community centre. This is the end of the introduction. White text on a black background. A Young Vic Taking Part film. Recycle bins, ceiling lights, fire extinguishers and electrical sockets. Laminate floor in a community hall. A close-up of the host's hand.
There's something about the tango.
A mysterious red-cloaked figure.
It takes its influences from Africa, Native America and the European cultures with flavour. It oozes danger, romance.
The host offers a poised hand to a mysterious dance partner.
It's a conversation between 2 people. It says love me or else. Join me or else. Trust me or else. Respect me or else. Welcome me home or else.
The image fades. Title: Even at Our Age. The words Our Age turn bright red. The title fades. Alice sits opposite the investigator. The shot changes to Flora, then to Indy, who speaks.
I don't know why I'm here. You've had me waiting ages outside. No one's even offered me a cup of tea.
Alice.
Can I be honest for a second? Like between you and me, I don't know why I'm here.
Flora.
How does that work then?
What?
That recording thing, how do you know it's working? That would stress me out. I'd have to keep checking it to see if it was working. You should just use pen and paper, and you shouldn't depend on technology so much.
So, what was he like?
Indy.
He couldn't even get my name right.
Alice. Flora.
I didn't really know him.
He was the host on Even at Our Age, the reality TV show you were on for weeks.
Yeah, but I didn't know him. He wasn't a friend or anything.
He
Indy.
kept calling me Dot. I would keep correcting him, but he would keep calling me Dot. Oh, my name's not Dot.
Alice.
He wasn't the nicest man. Indy really didn't like him.
Indy and Dot don't even sound the same. Dot, Dot, Dot. My name's Indy.
Alice.
It really wound her up.
Lights around a dressing room mirror, a small mirror on the table, a framed photo of a man in swimming trunks, a mobile phone, a small award statue, an orchid in a pot, a mug with the show's logo. The host stares at his reflection and speaks.
Welcome to Even at Our Age, the game show that promises to find you love that will last forever, or however long you have left. We take people looking for love and we let them have intimate conversations, ask in-depth questions, and generally get to know each other. And of course, we throw in some games, for what's love without games? And what's television without entertainment? This isn't BBC4.
He turns to us, to the person holding the camera.
Okay, how was that? That bit about the BBC4 wasn't too much?
The camera gestures no as it moves side
You
to
know, I
side.
still want to host the one show someday. I can't believe this is my life. I can't believe this is television. Old people looking for love.
He puts his glasses on and turns back to the camera.
Okay, who's the desperate bunch this time
From
around?
behind the camera, someone passes a card with the show's logo. The host reads it.
Alice, Flora, Indy. That doesn't sound old woman enough to me. Indy. That's a 20-something-year-old name. Can we change that?
The shot changes to Alice and the investigator.
He wanted to change her name.
Indy,
Who the hell is Dot?
back to Alice.
So, Indy didn't get on with him then,
I didn't say that.
but he did annoy her.
He just wasn't a nice man.
How did he annoy you?
Alice sees his boring lace-ups.
How did he annoy you?
She has flashy
He
trainers.
didn't. He seemed useful to me.
Useful?
The host.
That Alice one seemed interesting.
From behind the camera, a box with a red ribbon is passed to him.
I hope they got that bit where she was going on about Windrush.
He turns to the camera.
Diversity chat is always a hit.
Alice, with the Even at Our Age logo behind.
I have been called so many things in my life. Some people call me British, which makes sense because I was born here and I lived
The
here all
host
my
gestures
life.
blah, blah,
Some
blah.
call me Caribbean. Yes, I am Caribbean, but I was born
Back
here.
with the investigator.
Useful? How was he useful, Alice?
Did I say useful?
We switch to Indy. She leans forward and laughs. Then to Flora. Then Alice. Back to Indy.
What's funny, Indy?
Nothing, I just like to laugh sometimes.
Tell me about yourself, Indy. Why were you on Even at Our Age?
It was an adventure. My kid said, live a little. So I thought, I'll live a little, make a difference.
Difference?
Yeah, always been a little rebel, me. Ruffles and feathers. The rebellion my dad and other men tried to shake out of me, but it never worked. My mum was a rebel too. She passed that on to me before she died. After Mum passed, I moved out of the small town as fast as I could. My friends were all starting families. I didn't want no part of that. Oh, no. I was off to London, go to nursing school. My dad didn't talk to me for weeks after I announced my plans over dinner. I didn't know a single person in London, but I knew I wouldn't doubt that small town. Loved the idea of big things, me. I was in London a year before I got into the swing of things. I made many friends and met a guy. Well, I met many guys. More loved me than I loved them, and that's just the way I
The
liked
shot rests
it.
on the cameraman's
Is
shoes.
season 3 in the bag then?
The camera jerks back up to the host in the corridor on his
Complaining?
mobile.
The cast have been complaining? But I've been nothing but kind. Replace me.
To camera.
They want to replace me. But this is television. This is entertainment. This my territory. People like me can't catch a break.
Flora.
Unlovable, he called me.
Unlovable.
You spend your whole life not finding love. Why are you even bothering now? It wouldn't have bothered me if it weren't a little bit true. I always believed it was going to happen. Had the same dreams as all the girls my age had. I'd meet a nice man after going through a couple. He would be the love of my life. We'd get married, fall in love, and it'd be happy ever after. But it just never happened for me. The happy ever after that the movies promised everyone, it just never happened for me. So yeah, I was hoping to find someone special on the show. I wanted to give this love thing a chance, but the plans changed.
So, did you know your other cast members before the show?
Flora thinks. We flash back to Flora with Indy and Alice.
I am a little worried.
I think it can work.
What if we don't all get on the show?
We will.
We are doing the right thing. We need to take our power back, our home back, our heritage back, and our history back.
Being able to claim the home I was born in, a home that I could never call my own. There has been no place like home. But what actually makes a place a home? Is it where you were born? Is it the building you grew up in? Or do you take your home with you? Are you home? But what if the place that you call home refers to you as a stranger when you need to actually knock before you are let in? So, to be allowed in your own home, you've got to make friends with the person who holds the key. You do a dance with him, and you make him your friend. You are drawing him closer and closer. Then, one day, he cuts you the key. That key to your own home.
Take back what's mine.
Ours?
Yeah. The makings of us. Our values, our traditions, the elements of our identity. All the things that are rightfully ours, that's passed through the generations. Things we need to fight to get back. Things the world had to beat out of us.
Our history has been remixed. False narratives that have been thrown around. Credit given to the men that did little to deserve it. This has to work. He'll be useful. The world responds to him. He can feed the world our message. It's not that he's our saviour, rather he's our pawn. We use him to fulfil our purpose. And once that is done, he's gone.
Back to Flora and the investigator.
The other women on the show, did you know them?
No.
Alice.
No.
Indy.
No.
So, talk me through the last day of filming from the top. Don't miss out any details.
Well, my memory is not as sharp as it used to be.
Oh, my memory's not what it used to be.
You see, my memory's not what it used to be.
Try.
He jabs a pointed finger.
So the last day of filming was a Sunday.
It was a Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday. I think it was Sunday.
Well, the host came onto the set doing his usual showbiz things.
We never got told his name, but we like to call him Nicholas.
The host walks past the women as he rehearses his cue cards.
Welcome to Even at Our Age, the game show that promises to find you love, or at the very least, friendship for the elderly. And we have come to the end of the search. It's the finale.
Eating snacks, they ignore him. He looks for their reaction.
Well, give me a woo, or a clap, or something.
They carry on eating.
Does my mic need to be turned up? Can you all hear me?
Flora rolls her eyes as she eats her apple.
He was his usual host self.
And I was just happy it was our last day.
We spent the whole week going on dates, but none of us found love.
I was just ready to go home. The filming was over, and it was time for me to go to work.
Work?
Yes, I work Tuesdays and Thursdays. Just something to keep me
We
busy.
glimpse the investigator's face.
What is work?
It's like recruitment. Yes, let's call it recruitment.
We were taken into a room one by one to do our exit videos.
We had to talk about, all the fun we had. How the show changed our lives.
The exit videos.
Even at our age was such a lovely experience.
It really has changed my life.
I've made lifelong friends, experienced things I never knew was possible.
I would remember this for the rest of my life.
I will remember this for the rest of my life.
I'll remember this for the rest of my life.
After our exit videos, we got taken back to the set. Nicholas, the host, wraps up the show. We was told to wave goodbye. We had to keep waving for 5 minutes so they could get the right shot.
After our exit interviews, we just got our things and we leave. I meet up with my children and my son drives me home.
After our exit videos, we were ushered into taxis to take us home.
And that was the last time you saw the host?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Alice thinks again and looks back at the investigator.
Actually, no. When I was waiting for my son to get off the car. I saw him pacing down the corridor. He was on his phone. It seems like an intense conversation.
How can you not see what is happening to me here?
He speaks on his mobile.
I have been made to be the enemy. They want to replace me.
He goes into his dressing room,
To fit some sort of diversity quota.
closes the door. The camera slips. We see the cameraman's feet again. It angles back up to Alice in the corridor as she bobs back out of sight.
I hate to say it, I really do, but they are taking all our jobs.
In the dressing room,
I'm not against diversity. I'm really not against diversity. It goes without saying. I just spent a whole week with the older generation. All of them women. Oh, one of them was Caribbean, a Windrush and everything. I'm scared, and you're not getting it. I'm a white man, and I'm scared. Where is my safe space? I'm watching them taking my power right out of my very own hands. I'm under constant attack. I'm too white, too old. I'm being wronged, silenced. Where is my voice being heard?
he flicks away the apple and card on the table, turns towards the door. We jump to Alice and the investigator.
So, that was the last time you saw him?
Yes.
Flora looks away, covers her mouth. Indy leans back, mouth wide. Alice, with a broad grin. Discarded red boots in a corridor, we follow the investigator's feet.
This might sound ridiculous, but I have been watching them for months now, and I have a theory. Hear me out.
Photos on an evidence board.
Alice is the leader. She has been leading the group for many years now. The group disguise themselves as lovely citizens. Some of them have grandchildren, kids, all the things you would expect from them. They meet weekly after choir practice. No one suspects them. Who would suspect lovely old ladies?
Choir practice.
Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens.
The investigator paces the corridors. We jump between his search and the women's choir practice. The investigator's eyes fall on a small box tied with a red ribbon.
These are a few of my favourite things.
He sees the framed photo of a man in swimming trunks. The investigator collects evidence, an apple with a bite out of it. We switch to the host's dressing room. Objects strewn about. The chair upturned. Close up as the investigator studies an object.
These are a few of my favourite things.
The investigator looks round the dressing room.
In white dresses with blue satin.
We switch to the women wearing long red cloaks.
Snowflakes that stay on my nose.
He picks up the photo of the man in trunks.
Silver white winters
Then the apple.
that melt into spring. These are a few of my favourite things.
The investigator studies the display of evidence on the board. Post-it notes say guilty and inside job. Red strings are pinned across, joining clue to clue. Red cloak figures flicker on and off the screen.
Choir is the cover-up for what they are really up to. The real reason for their meet-up is still unknown to me. I know it's far-fetched, but I think I am onto something.
Alice, Indy and Flora and a mystery fourth figure in red cloaks, hoods up.
We are the Alliance.
Oh, I forget the next line.
She does this every time. The Alliance we are.
We should think about changing that. It's so hard to remember.
It's literally what Alice just said, but backwards.
Except that it's not. That would be the Alliance, that are we.
We are the Alliance.
The Alliance we are.
We have him. He's now ours.
In a community hall, the host stands in the centre. The women circle him, their hoods down, a flash of red hood in a corridor. The host takes a small box tied with a red ribbon from an unseen figure. in the hall, the host is surrounded by the women. A red-cloaked figure moves swiftly away down a corridor. In the hall, the tango begins. The camera slips to the cameraman's feet. Other feet tap to a beat. A cloaked figure dashes down a stairway. In the hall, high hands clap. A flash of red cloak as another figure disappears round a corner. Back in the hall, then a corridor where another red-cloaked figure swishes side to side as they back away. In the hall, the dance continues. Cloaks flick and flap, matador style. A flashback to the host on his mobile. Back to the hall and the dance builds. Alice, without her cloak, beckons to an unseen ally. In the hall, the women close in. The host brims with confusion, hands raised in defence. The shot closes in on Alice, Indy and Flora with fearless gazes as their steps slow. The shot widens. The space where the host stood is now empty. Darkness. Cast: Barbara Clark, Duncan Reddington, Jerry Daniels, Lee Kempster, Richard N. Russell, Charles Charlie Brown. Writer: Tolani Shoneye. Director: Jade Lewis. Designer: Sadesia Greenaway Bailey. Sound designer: Zana. Movement director: Corinne Meredith. Costume supervisor: Sarah Hamza. Sound supervisor: Carl McPherson. For T Films, director of photography: Dan Hipkin. Cinematography: Dan Hipkin, Oliver Berry, Joey Juilliard. Editor: Oliver Berry. Production manager: Sylvia Darkwa Oemeng. Assistant directors: Ashan Gupta and Ben Kashi. Design assistant: Phyllis Egarevba. Costume technician: Alex Kanini Parsons. Production assistant: George Mills. Executive producer: Shireen Jasmine Phillips. Producer: Lucy Deer. Assistant producers: Esme Allman and Jamel Alatis. Special thanks to all staff at Young Vic, Sieglind Cossius and Tina Johnston, all staff at Blackfriars Settlement, and to all the Blackfriars Settlement participants that contributed to 2020 from the beginning of the project. Supported by American Express, Bossier Hinton Foundation, Lambeth Council Arts and Culture at Risk Fund, Paul Hamlin Foundation, Southwark Council COVID-19 Community Fund. In honour of Leslie Gay. The logos of the Young Vic and Young Vic Taking Part. We rejoin the cast as they let loose with some disco moves in the hall. Flora, Alice and Indy, still in their red cloaks, pop with the host and investigator and another man, the person behind the camera earlier. The women swish their cloaks through the air as everyone boogies round the room with joyful smiles. The camera wobbles. The image begins to fade to black.